Hello students, myself Sulochna Das, your history teacher from Adarsh Education Society, welcome you all for the online teaching. Our topic for today is sources of history. Student, you know that history is divided into three periods, that is ancient, medieval and modern. Last year you have learned about ancient Indian history. But this year, we are going to study the medieval Indian history. The medieval period of Indian history is considered to be from the 9th century CE till the end of 18th century CE. So today in this lesson, we will learn about the sources of medieval history. Students, you must be wondering, what does history gives us? Well, history gives us chronological, scientific and systematic account of the past event. Now, chronology means it is arranged in an order of their occurrence, or you can say the events are arranged in the order of their occurrence. And scientific means based on the facts. That means people come to know what happened in the past by looking at the thing from the past or through the sources of the past. Thus they study, they do the research on the sources that provide us with information of the past event in a proper order. So basically, history gives us sequence-wise, reliable and systematic account of the past event. Now there are four factors of history. Four factors are very important from point of view of history. They are individual, society, place and time. These factors are helpful in the study of history because it helps us to understand the individual and society, and it also gives us information that how the people lived in particular society, place or time in the past. Now history must be based on authentic evidence or proof, and which are known as the sources of history, and these sources of history serve as the basis of writing history. So before writing, it is necessary to ascertain the authenticity of the sources, that is the sources of history, by critically analysis, means critically examining or verifying. Now the sources of history are classified into three categories, that is written sources, material sources and oral sources. Now let's discuss about the material sources. Now the material sources are also known as physical sources, which are tangible. Tangible means that they can be seen or touched. Now what are included in the material sources? Now they are forts, memorial, buildings, cave sculptures, inscriptions, coin, copper plates. Now let's first discuss about the forts. Now forts is considered to be a strong building that is used for military defense. Most of the Indian forts were built as a defense mechanism to keep the enemy away and to ensure having an upper hand during the war. So let's discuss about the different types of forts. Now as I have already told you that forts have an important place among the material sources. Some major forts are hill forts, forest forts, sea forts and forts on plain. Now let's discuss about the hill forts. A hill fort is a type of earthwork used as a fortified refuge or defended settlement located to exploit a rise in elevation for defensive advantage. Means a protected place in a high hill for the safety purpose or to keep an eye on the movement of the enemies. For example, the Pratapgarh Fort or Raigad Fort or Rajgarh Fort. Now, Maratha gave tremendous importance to the forts as they are strongest defense against the invaders. The next is Forest Fort. Now, it is created amidst dense jungle protected by heavy trees covered along with the reptiles and wild animals. They were also known as Vanadurga as they are covered by forest. For example, Javali Fort of Maharashtra. Now student, you must have studied about this in your lower classes, that how Shivaji Maharaj crossed this Javali jungle, or you can say forest, in order to defeat Chandrarao More of Javli to establish Hindavi Swaraj or to establish Swaraj. Next we move to sea forts. Now a fort completely surrounded by water. It may be fortified island built on a large part of an island or a construction built on the seabed. For example, Sindhudurg Fort built by Shivaji Maharaj or Murud Janjira Fort, which is considered one of the strongest marine fort in India. Now forts on plains, that is the forts that were created on the plains. For example, the Chakan Fort. Now let's gather some information about the monuments. Monument is a large structure which is built to remind people of an event in history or of a famous person. It is usually made up of stones. Monuments includes Samadhi, Veergala, graves. Now Samadhi is a structure erected in the memory of a dead person or over their burial place. Samadhi is made in remembrance to remember an important person. And graves is a place where dead bodies are buried. And Veergala. Veergala is known as martyr's stone. These were built either by the families or the local villagers in the memory of slain unsung soldiers. Now we move to the next topic, that is building. Buildings included the palaces, ministerial mansion, Queen's Quarter, that is also known as the Rani Vasa, and the house of the common people. Now monuments and building provide insight about that period. It gives us idea about the development of architecture, the quality of art, economic condition and standard of the living of the people in that particular period. So all these material sources, that is the monuments and building, gives us lots of information about the medieval period or about that particular period. Now let's seek some information about coins. We come across different types of coins made by different rulers like gold, silver and copper. And all these coins are very important sources of history and it helps us in study of history. These coins help us to learn about the rulers, their period, governance, religious ideas, personal detail, etc. By this it means that through coins we come to know a lot about the rulers who issued them, and the coins also speak about the events that took place. Some coins tells us the name of the ruler and which year he ruled in. Similarly, from the metal used for making coins tells us about the financial transaction and economic condition prevailing at that time. That means the economic condition of kingdom can be revealed by seeing the metal or the material used to make the coin. For example, if the coin is made up of pure gold, we come to know that the kingdom was a prosperous kingdom. One more thing that coin help us to know is how far metallurgy has advanced in that period. Metallurgy means heating metal so as to give them a certain desired shapes. Now students, you can see the images of Ram Sita, Shiva Parvati on your screen. The images of Ram Sita on the coins of Akbar and the images of Shiva Parvati on the coins of Hyder Ali reflect religious coordination of the ruler, or we can say the coin tells religious policies of the ruler, that how the rulers were tolerant towards the other religion. The Peshwa used the Arabic and Persian language on their coins, and this throws light on the use of languages in that period. Hence we can say that the synthesis of religion finds reflection in the coin. Now let's move to the inscriptions. An inscription is a carving on the stone or a wall, etc. For example, Brihadishwar temple premises in Tanjore. Many inscriptions of the period of Chalukyas, Cholas, Yadav, Rashtrakutas, in that we also find the inscriptions. And an inscription is considered to be very important and reliable source of history. Now it helps us to understand features like languages, means which languages people were using during that period. It also make us understand, or it's also helpful to understand the script, the social life of the period, means how the society was, how the people were living their life during that period. Now the inscription carved on the sheets of copper are known as copper plates. Royal edicts, verdict, etc. are inscribed on the copper plates. Now what do you mean by edicts? Edict means an official order or a statement issued by the king. And the verdict means the decision or the judgment or the opinion of the king. So all these material sources which we have studied provide us with authentic information of the past. So student, let's do a quick revision of what we have studied. We have studied about the material sources, and in that we have studied about the forts, we have studied about the buildings and monuments, coins and inscriptions. Hope you understood the topic. So student, we come to the end of this lecture. See you in the next video. Till then, thank you and goodbye.